Huh? Oh, hi folks! Don't mind me, I'm just playing some Uno on the Nintendo Switch. It's a pretty relaxing way to pass the time while we, wait for viruses to never disappear. But now hold the phone here for just a darn second. Isn't the name of this series Retro Hype? Well, I guess the answer is yes. Yes, it is. And this game isn't retro at all. What gives, bro? Well, you're right. This isn't anything retro to be hyped about. But did you know that back in the day, there were actually Uno games for much older game consoles and handhelds? Oh, yes, indeed. But the question is, were they as good as this one? Well, let's find out. How does Uno stack up on all those old school consoles? Well, we're starting off with Uno for DOS. Is this thing even official? Does Gary Spencer work for Mattel? This game was apparently published by a company called Reasonable Solutions Incorporated. Sounds legit. After giving you some instructions and commands I'm sure to forget, let's hop right into it and... well, this is DOS circa 1991. Nothing could possibly look good on computers back in those days, right? Oh... Well, we have to remember that this is the work of one man, Gary Spencer of Memphis, Tennessee. He probably didn't have John Romero money. Or hair. The DOS version of Uno is pretty lame by today's standards, but it does have everything you need. Clearly marked color cards, specialty cards, a draw pile, and a page if you have a hankering for a spry male servant. I don't think anyone would want to replay this now, but it's a quaint little nugget of history. PC gamers wouldn't get a legitimate Uno game for another 9 years. But while they were too busy drooling over Apogee software titles, the console and handheld market had a few aces up their sleeves. Well, if they were aces in an Uno deck, which there aren't. The next Uno game would be officially licensed. Uno Small World is a Japan-exclusive Game Boy title released in 1993 and developed by Jupiter of all companies. Yes, the folks behind all those lovely Picross titles and... Wait, what? Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories? Really? Huh? The Small World obviously refers to the compact nature of the Game Boy, but oh, y'all better believe there's enough Uno packed in this cartridge to please you for dozens of minutes. After selecting your player and a few others of various ages and background... Is that Guile? You can get right into the action. And look how cute this game is! How cute is it? Answer? Rather. The playing field may be small, but hey, you can see your own cards, how many cards everyone else has in the deck, and of course, the facial expressions of everyone being unhappy. Plus, this music is charming as a kitten in a polyester sweater. Also Japan exclusive, this one's... What? Yeah, it's pretty much the same game, except now it boasts Super Game Boy support, so players can enjoy Uno on their Super Famicom in weird, funky color palettes. But why did they just re-release the same game 2 years later? Why couldn't they have put any effort into anything? What is wrong with them? What are they doing with their lives? Oh my gosh, what's going on? Oh, yeah, it's Jupiter. They love rehashing games for extra money. If Super Famicom owners were lacking a Super Game Boy attachment, they still had their own chance at skip-eternal happiness. With Super Uno, also from 1993, also from the good people at Tomy, known for such wonderful products as Pump Up Pirates,
Pump Up Pirates, a pumping race to blow up the pirates.
Sushi Scramble,
Sushi Scramble.
I love sushi, yes I do.
and Burp the Baby?
Sometimes you get a soaking.
With the power of the Super Famicom, the Japanese version of the Super Nintendo, Uno could finally have some serious pizzazz. And it does! Look! Glam! Style! Flair! Tomy! A ladder leading to the Uno Balluno! This is a much fancier introduction to a card game than you might normally expect. Like its Game Boy counterpart, there are quite a few characters to choose from, and once you've selected your gaming party, you're tossed right into the game where, despite the language barrier, if you're an avid Uno fanatic, you'll know exactly what to do. Bold, bright, and full of zippy color, this is a great way to while away an afternoon, especially if you have an actual second player handy to share in the magic. It feels like Nintendo enthusiasts were getting all the Uno love. Oh, fear not, my comfortable friends, for there's more on the way. Introducing Uno DX for the Sega Saturn. And you know what? I'm also going to bundle Uno for the original PlayStation in there, since they're essentially the same. They're also both Japan exclusive. Oh dear. Sporting an intro that really has very little to do with a card game and more to do with a high school anime drama, Uno, or Uno DX, centers around a bunch of youth, and the occasional creepy adult, putting aside their social differences for a friendly game of Uno. Yep, pretty friendly. Again, it definitely serves its purpose, but wow, this one is definitely a bit slower paced. It's interspersed with plenty of cute animations that decrease this title's pick-up and play ability. Better sit down with a bottle of Dr. Pepper and some cantaloupe chunks for this rendition of Uno. It's gonna take you some time.
And then it happened.
In the year 2000, Uno dropped for PC. Dropped like a log in the... Now I say this with significant bias, as the game certainly doesn't run that well on modern PCs. I mean, it runs, but it doesn't respond to inputs during the actual game. Come on, I'm starting to irritate Timmy. But alas, no matter how much I try, I just can't play this game enough to give it an honest opinion. Next up is Uno for the PlayStation 2, yet another Japan exclusive released as part of the budget Super Light 2000 table series by developer Success, where each game in the series would sell for about 2,000 yen. Despite its bargain bin-esque status, I have to be quite honest with you, this is the best retro version of Uno I've ever played. Once again, you select from several characters, and then you can play a solid and impressively fast-paced game of Uno against 7 other players. Seriously, this is the most players I've ever seen in a video game adaptation of Uno, and yet it manages to move far more quickly than any other version. Got only 5 minutes before that all-important business meeting? You have time for this. Got a rhubarb pie in the oven? You have time for this. Gotta cough up a furball before making an encouraging speech? Might want to focus on that, actually. You might want to brush up on your Japanese a little bit before playing this, but even those with zero background in Japanese linguistics can easily have an enjoyable time. This is the version of choice, and it's Japan exclusive. Stink! There's been an odd and unfortunate trend of Uno games not leaving Japan, but for overseas porters of portable consoles, there's a bit more luck. The Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance combined had 4 Uno releases, none of which were stuck in Japan. Let's start with the Game Boy Color game of Uno. Released in December 1999, this one will give you all the Uno fun that you need. You can even use the Game Boy Link cable and connect with a friend. There's only one major complaint I have with this game. The animations for action cards are a bit too long for my taste, and they really slog the gameplay. Remember, the Game Boy Color is running on batteries, so we don't have all the time in the world to wait for an Uno card with arms and legs to do a funky dance. As well, this game seems to boast a Draw 2 card that distributes 2 cards to all other players, not just one, something not prevalent in most other games. Dang, Uno, you're scary! If you were the proud owner of the Game Boy Advance, you were privy to not 1 but 3 Uno games. Holy underwear, Batman! The basic Uno game was coupled with fellow card game Skip-Bo in 2006 for a fine compilation cartridge indeed. Enjoy that hip title screen music. Savor it. Cherish it. Keep it in your head for a little while. After a few choices of gameplay and presentation, the game determines player order, and then we begin. And it's Uno? A very small version of Uno. Why the player's cards are so small, I'll never know. Honestly, the Game Boy Color made much better use of its limited screen size than this. Well, Uno for Game Boy Advance is functional, I'll say that. The same year, we also got Uno 52, with the same title screen music. What the heck? You might notice the cards in the background have suits? And there's a jack? What gives? The main difference with this game is that there's a betting mechanic that adds an extra layer of gambling to the mix. That's right, now you can play Uno and poker at the same time. Oh, finally! None of these games has satisfied my intrinsic desire to lose money to a squarehead named Becky. She has a square head there. That's not a derogatory term. Please don't hurt me. In addition to trying to play Uno normally, you also get to discard one card into a separate pile during each turn in the hopes of creating a better hand than all of your opponents to win those chips. Royal flush. Uno 52 also boasts a game of solitaire. Solitaire. The last game we're going to look at today is Uno Freefall, also for the Game Boy Advance, with the same title music. If you love card games, you're not gonna like this one that much. There's very little Uno-y about it. No, this isn't Uno, no. Puzzle game. A dropping block puzzle game. Is this what we asked for? Probably not. But for what it's worth, it's not terrible. You're basically trying to match blocks of the same color. If there are Uno blocks next to a match, they flip over to reveal different colors as well. Can you make them all disappear? There have been Uno games since, but I wanted to focus on the more retro ones. After all, this is the Retro Hype series, not the Everything Ever Hype series. Interestingly enough, for console owners outside of Japan, you were pretty much bereft of Uno benefits until it was snuck onto the Xbox 360 arcade in 2006. From then on, most consoles and even mobile devices were privy to the allure of the colored cards. And now, everyone gets to play Uno, even if you bought Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. Except it's called Last Card because why pay for the license? Hoo-hoo! Oh, and one other thing. I'm sure you were wondering if I actually won that first Uno game I was playing. Well...
Nope.
Thanks for watching. You know, if you really like this video, maybe you should hit that subscribe button. I personally think it's a good idea. Now, if you didn't like the video, I still think you should subscribe. What have you got to lose? What, your clicker finger? Come on!